Okay, everybody, this is Bob again, and today I'm going to be talking about the comic Samuree from Continuity Comics. Sorry, my tongue doesn't like to work sometimes. Um, this comic, I don't have much to say about. So, I have this comic, but this is not the copy of this comic that I had when I was younger. I'm not sure where I got one of these issues from, but I did think that it was wild that, again, I have said it in other videos, that comics just appeared in a pile. Whatever I was going through, I would find some new weird thing that just appeared, and I never really knew where it came from. Again, it had to be my parents buying it from who knows where and then just throwing it on a stack. And sometimes I feel like they never checked into what it was they were purchasing, as we'll see with this. So this is actually Samuree number one. Okay, and this is through Continuity Comics, which was Neil Adams' comics publisher. He had started his own publishing house, I believe, in 1984. This lasted for about 10 years, and the house style would have been Neil Adams. Okay, so just like I stated before, like you know, Marvel had a house style that was a lot like Jack Kirby for a while before John Buscema hit the scene, and then everything kind of had that John Buscema look. They wanted their comics to have a style that looked similar. You didn't have like artists creating different styles or anything for a different book. So this is actually wild because this book is drawn by Mark Beachum. And if you remember, I showed you a pinup that he did in one of these Elvira House of Mystery comics where he was also the artist. And I was just in love with that artwork. But as we can see here, this is very, very Neil Adams. This is very, photorealistic. Uh, but what stands out to me is, they really, really make sure to try to put as much butt as they can in the comic. Now, I have to say, as a teenage boy, when I discovered this, I'm just like, okay, this is my comic now. This is the one I'm going to be reading. Now, when I look at it, it becomes a little problematic when you have this girl here who is actually 16 in the book and talking to this person over here, which you can see looks a bit mature. So I'm not sure what the situation is there because it's not really explained. But here we have a group. I don't know what they're called. They say that they're teenagers. Each one has a different power. So I think you had like Silver Streak, Megalith, and Armor here. But as you can see from these faces, they're very Neil Adams. So what I read online, again with this being Neil Adams' house style, Mark Beachum was a great artist. But as you can see here, this really looks like it's a Neil Adams thing. So from what I understand, Neil Adams would go in and draw the faces on a lot of these characters in order to, again, make everything look like it was Neil Adams' work. Okay, but like it's insane. The anatomy here, the artwork, everything I think is wild. Now I remember Eric Larson using this. He had talked about this, I believe, on Twitter at one point. How not to break a panel because you have this guy's foot coming down into this panel, which is kind of like in front of this guy's face here. Like there's weird things going on because of the panel break. Now, to me, it brings it down and guides you to this one so that you can then go over to this one to read because they're doing a weird panel structure. But I see where he's coming from because, that's a weird tangent here with this head next to this boot, making them look like they're in the, same thing or whatever. But again, the artwork is just flawless to me. So what we have here is apparently some terrorists took over a museum and they have a bunch of hostages. And the character Samuree here decided to sneak in to help because one of the people there, she knows one of the people there and has to talk to him, so she can't allow this person to die. These are the police, and she's telling the police, like, hey, you guys have to get out of here. You're too loud. These terrorists are going to hear you. You're not as silent as I am being this, to me, she seems more like a ninja, but, going by Samuree here. So, As we can see here again, this is just Ass the Comic. That's what they should have called it. This was Ass number 1, just so everybody knows. Again, I mean, I'm not complaining. The artwork in this is insane. I love every picture that I've seen in here. You're not going to hear me complaining at all about any of this. I think Mark Beachum is an amazing artist, and then when you have Neil Adams also contributing in some way, it's great. I will say the story isn't that great. Dialogue isn't that great. This is written by Neil Adams. And while Neil Adams is a great artist, I don't think anybody's ever really looked at him as being a great writer. Okay? But as we can see here again, like, just look at this artwork, right? But again, Ask the Comic. That's all it is. I feel like this YouTube video will get flagged from the amount of butt taking place here in this comic. But basically, she takes out those police officers because they're like, hey, you know, we're here to rescue the hostages. We don't know who you are. We're not going to listen to you. So she took them out silently, and then she ends up running into a giant shadowy figure that doesn't move when she hits into him. But she's like, you know what? You're too strong. I'll come back to fight you later because there's hostages to save. So then she runs off and runs into a couple more people. And then we find out that this is actually Silver Streak and Megalith and everything. And they came to save the hostages as well. Okay. She's letting them know that, you know, again, she's silent. They're going to make too much noise. Give her the opportunity to do this. They kind of buy into it, but also offer that they can help because they can be silent as well. And they decide to work as a team after a little bit of, you know, Megalith captures her here and stops her from attacking. And then you see they plead their cases and say, okay, let's go. We can take care of these hostages here. Okay. Now we have some more police officers that were in position ready to take out these terrorists, but this team of superheroes, again, I'm not sure what the team is called because it wasn't mentioned here in the book. They actually take out these police officers. So I'm not sure. I guess they knocked them out. It's not really shown. They just say that they'll be asleep for an hour that they were taken care of. Okay. And we can see here they're talking to some of the other officers and letting them know, like, hey, you guys be our backup. We're the ones that are going to handle this. You guys can come in afterwards or whatever. So, you know, they jump down. Megalith goes first. Apparently, they only had to be quiet for a certain amount of time, and then when they got close enough, they could just make as much noise as they want. So they jump down, and everyone starts attacking. Again, just beautiful artwork everywhere. I love all of this. Like, the poses, the action, visually, the storytelling works perfectly. You know, we can see here Silver Streak, I think he's a speedster, jumps down. So we have a lot of animated drawings here to show exactly how that happened. We have Samuree jumping around everywhere, taking out people. Okay. As we can see here again, right? Just ask the comic. I think if you give Mark Beachum a chance, he's going to draw a butt on that page. Okay. Now with this one here, you know, Samuree is taking out this terrorist when this guy takes a shot. This bullet is going straight for her, and Armor knows that it is going to take her out. But in the nick of time, he blocked it with one of his blades, throws this blade into this guy's arm. I actually love how you see it just kind of sliding up into the skin here. That is just a wild thing. That's not something I had seen before in a comic. And you would need an artist that can draw like Neil Adams in order to portray that in this manner. So I think they did an excellent job there. But then Armor ends up getting shot by everybody. Samuree freaks out because she's like, no, this guy just saved my life. She runs and takes out the people who attacked Armor. Okay, takes them out. And then she goes over to Armor's body and she's feeling really sad. But then the rest of the team comes over and they're not really worried. And they're just like, yeah, he's fine. You know, this happens all the time. He, you know, the bullets can't penetrate his armor, but he does feel the impact of the bullets. So she's happy that he's alive. But at the last second, some terrorists come in again and snatch the people that this team was trying to talk to. So they take the people out through the roof or whatever, and they're like, well, we're going to have to follow because these are the people that we were looking for. So we can't allow that to happen, and then we have it to be continued. So again, just with this comic, mainly with anything, I am just absolutely in love with the artwork, the anatomy, the figures. Everything is just amazing to look at on this. I'm trying to get some of this glare off of here so that you can see that. This book was, I mean, the story-wise, not much to it. But again, I remember as a kid having geez, I may have had like issue 3 or 4. I just remember like her butt was on the cover. And, you know, as a 15-year-old boy or whatever, I was just like, man, look at this. And I must have studied that book like crazy at that time. This was Samuree #1 from Continuity Comics. My name is Bob. If you like this video at all, please like and subscribe. I'm a comic book artist. I'm trying to get my name out there. I'm going to have a comic releasing in the near future, and I'll be doing a Kickstarter in order to procure funds for its printing. If you're interested, subscribe so that you'll be able to stay up to date with any new information about that. Guys, again, thanks for watching, and till next time.